If one night you stop at a gas station you've never seen before, and the clock in your car reads exactly 3:17 a.m., turn back. Don't step out. Don't look at the rear view mirror. This isn't a warning. It's a reminder. Because it's already too late. Too late for me. And even knowing that, I still stopped. Not because I wasn't afraid, but because I wasn't sure. If I kept driving, how much longer I'd still be the one behind the wheel.
I can't remember the last time I slept, not sure. If I couldn't, or if I just didn't dare. Night is no longer for rest. It's a hollow space, waiting for something I never dared to name. Driving is the only thing that calms me. No destination, no purpose, just motion, as if stopping would make my body collapse on command. I once thought it was just stress. Now, I'm not so sure. Maybe I've only been delaying the truth, that none of this has been real for a very long time. Night roads repeat, signs, curves, rest stops. I've memorized them all. Except for one thing, something I'll never understand. Every time I stop for gas, no matter the hour, the digital clock still shows 3:17 a.m. Not 3:16, not 3:18. Always 3:17, not a second off, not a pixel wrong. Always the same station, as if it's been waiting for me to return to a fixed point. I used to laugh, thought I was just obsessing over the clock. Then I doubted myself. Then I doubted the doubt, until I realized I'm not the one being measured. It's not about time, not about the route. It's about me. This time, I signaled, turned in. No thought, no choice, just arrival. The lot was empty, no streetlights, no other cars, just me. And the sound of my own breathing, echoing, as if recorded, then played back inside the cabin. There was no echo, yet it rang louder than any sound I've ever known. And I realized I wasn't hearing with my ears anymore. The sound struck deep into the base of my skull, like a pre-recorded loop, played back at the exact right moment. I don't remember when I first saw it. The third night, the 10th, I've lost the sense of what a first time even means. A small silver emblem, paint chipped, faded. It clung to the side of the gas pump. A circle, off-center, cut through by faint diagonal lines. Uneven, asymmetrical, as if it was drawn by a hand that never knew gravity. Weightless, unpulled, still trying to mimic the curve of our world. I don't know why my eyes froze on it, but my hand trembled. Not from cold, but as if some ancient reflex had just been awakened. It wasn't fear, more like a dormant code inside me suddenly triggered, without warning, as if my body remembered something. My mind was blocked from knowing. I never studied symbols, but my stomach twisted, not from fear, but as if some hidden organ had just been called by name. In a language I never learned, yet my body understood perfectly. I tried to remember. Where had I seen it? In a dream? On a blueprint erased long ago? Inside the control panel of something dismantled? Or maybe etched into the frosted glass of a lab where no one remembers why they were there? I don't know. And I'm not sure. I want to know. Maybe I saw that symbol in a place I'm no longer allowed to return to. Or worse, a place I never really left. That's when he appeared. The gas station man. No sound, no footsteps, no greeting, just a figure. Tall, thin, face hidden, standing still, right behind my car. He didn't speak, didn't take money, didn't touch me, just stood there and looked through the rearview mirror. I don't remember turning my head, but somehow my eyes were already fixed on the mirror, and each time they locked onto his reflection, the back of my neck went cold, as if pressed against frozen metal. It wasn't fear, it was the feeling of being verified, not seen, compared. Every movement, every glance, measured against some original version I no longer remembered being. I tried changing my schedule, not once, but dozens of times. Left home at 2:15, took longer routes, chose other directions, even drove at noon. But every time I stopped, the clock still read 3:17 a.m. Always 3:17. Never later. Never before. I switched devices. An analog watch, frozen, caught between 2 seconds, that never came. A digital one, blinked, then died. My phone lit up, then black. Again, then black. As if something or someone was testing my reaction, not to understand me, but to measure deviation from some original version. I turned on the radio. There was a signal, but not a voice, just tones, scattered, empty, like a system testing my voice. With the rhythm of my own heartbeat, I changed everything: schedule, route, sleep. But still, I arrived there, not out of habit, but because I was the variable inside an equation trying to solve itself. My heart slipped, not from fear, but as if something had fallen out of sync, a failed synchronization between a living body and an operating system forcing an update. No warning, no permission, only override. I gripped the wheel. My fingers turned cold. Veins shrank. It felt like my blood was being pumped through another fluid, not mine anymore. I didn't turn on the cabin light. I wasn't sure if I was still awake or if I had drifted into another pane of glass, where everything lagged by exactly one beat. For the first time, I felt I had lost control, not of the road, not of the clock, but of the concept itself, of time. It was being rewritten, outside my will. Never coincidence, never mine, I began to wonder if I wasn't the one choosing when to stop, then who was writing the script? Or worse, who was running it? And if I was nothing, the last line, already written, how many before me had been tested, played, discarded, before it came to me? Only silence. I decided to stay away from that station, not just by changing the time. I changed the logic, used paper maps, turned off GPS, took back roads, drove deep into the forest. No signal, no signs, no artificial light. I counted every marker, wrote down every coordinate, noted the smell of wet soil, the crunch of gravel under the tires. I drew every detail by hand, as if handwriting could resist a line of code. But then, my car slipped onto a dark road, a soft curve, a faded sign, a pale yellow glow. I saw the light, not sodium, not halogen, but a layer hanging in the air, like a glitch of light, suspended. No beam, no shadow, no edge, just suspended. And then, the station appeared. Silver pump, rusting roof, faded logo, the same, exactly the same. I looked at the clock, 3:17 a.m. I said nothing, not from shock, but because a part of me had already known. I went home, slid the dashcam card into my laptop. Only one clip, just a few minutes long. My car, already parked at the station. No road before it, no scenery, no engine sound, no timestamp, no proof I had ever driven for half an hour. I slowed the video, frame by frame, no wheel turning, no road in the glass, no driver in the seat, only the mirror. A silver blur, a replay of something that never happened. I rewound the file. No turns, no lights, no sound, no data. Only the final cut, like someone had trimmed the reel, leaving just the fragment that needed to play. Every bit of data overwritten by a compressed command. Start, stop, match. And I was nothing more than something played back at the exact moment required. It wasn't that I had lost the journey. The journey had never existed. Not for anyone. I turned on the room light, turned it off, unplugged the clock on my desk. That night, I didn't go anywhere. I just lay still, and I began to wonder if every drive I'd ever taken ended in the same place. Did I ever leave at all? Or was I only a role, run across versions of the same stage? A role that didn't need an audience, only someone to stand in the spot and believe they were alive. I don't trust the rearview mirror anymore. Not because it's blurred, not because of dust, but because it has started choosing what it wants to reflect. That night, I stopped again. No avoiding, no checking the clock, no asking why. The gas station man appeared. No footsteps, no sound of an engine. I didn't turn, just glanced at the mirror. In the reflection, he lifted his hand, slow, deliberate, placed an open palm against the rear glass, right behind my head. I turned at once. No one, no sound, no handprint, but the back of my neck froze. Not from wind. It felt like being touched by something, without temperature. I looked again. My breath fogged the cabin window, a thin film spreading with every exhale. But the spot where he touched stayed clear. No mist, no trace. Like that piece of glass had slipped out of my world. I reached for the mirror. My finger burned with cold, but the reflection stayed still. No tremor, no ripple, no response to the world outside. The reflection didn't follow. It only looked back. Not angry, not curious. Just waiting. A gaze that knew me better than I knew myself. It didn't need to confirm. It had already stood here, in my place, long before I even knew I existed. And then it smiled, not because it saw me, but because it already knew I would be here at this exact moment. I recoiled, half hoping the mirror would reset, but it didn't. It no longer showed the present. It was replaying a fragment of the future, a script being written over me. I shut my eyes, opened them. The figure was gone. The mirror, blank, just black glass. No image, but I knew it was still watching, as if, even while showing nothing, it still saw everything. I wasn't sleepwalking, wasn't imagining, wasn't paranoid. The mirror was lying, and this time, I wasn't the one reflected. I was the auxiliary copy, a variation installed long ago in a system that had already locked its lead role. For the first time, I asked myself, if a reflection is only a recording, then what am I in its eyes? I went back to the station. A night of thin fog. I wasn't sure why. Maybe curiosity, or maybe it was already written into the script. Everything was the same. The silver pump, the faded sign, the light, with no source. I stopped the car. No cabin light, no radio. Just sat there. The rearview mirror began to glow, not reflecting the space behind, but replaying a clip from somewhere else. This time, he didn't walk out. The attendant was already there, inside the mirror, wearing a moss gray jacket, the one I wore last winter. I was sure I'd thrown it away, or thought I had. A stain on the left cuff, exactly where I spilled coffee. Hair disheveled, a posture too familiar. My body reacted before memory could, as if my flesh recognized him before my mind knew he existed. I leaned closer. No mistake. It was me. He was fueling my car, not looking inside, not speaking, just repeating the act, like he had done it hundreds of times. I tried to summon the feeling, hand gripping the nozzle, the sting of gasoline in my nose, wind cutting across my neck. But nothing returned, no sound, No temperature, no memory. Only the mirror, playing back a scene rendered from old data. I opened the door, stepped out. No rush, no hesitation, like each step was already scripted. Each footfall felt like retracing my own prints, but I couldn't remember ever leaving them. I turned around. The station was empty. No figure, no engine, no wind, only silence. The silence of a stage that doesn't need an audience. I faced the mirror again. He was still there, still fueling, still repeating. Every move the same, like a loop projected on glass. I walked closer, stood where he had stood. No prints, no gas smell, no trace anyone had ever been. But in my mind, the image was vivid, like recalling a scene I had never lived, only memorized. I saw myself, but no memory aligned, no recognition, only a fragment that looked real, but wasn't mine, only a ghost rehearsing. I returned to the cabin, sat down, looked at the mirror. I still saw myself, fueling the car, repeating, rehearsing a scene that had never been filmed. And I wondered, if I was watching myself, then who was behind the wheel? When my consciousness had already slipped out of my body, without me knowing. I tried to leave. This time, no stopping, no mirror, no clock. Just pressed the gas and turned away. But the car slowed. I hadn't braked, hadn't lifted my foot. The speedometer dropped, tick by tick, as if something was holding the car. Not with force, but with a pause command. I gripped the wheel, turned left. The car obeyed, pressed the gas. It jolted, then drifted, slow. But the feeling was wrong. Each response felt returned, not begun by me. I glanced at the rear view. A figure sat in the driver's seat. Faint, faceless, just a posture, straight, still, like a statue. I moved. He moved. Every gesture matched. Wheel, glance, nod. Always the same, but this time I saw it. He lagged. Half a second. Or maybe I was the one behind. I couldn't tell. The script was slipping out of real time. I tapped the dashboard, but he did it first, before I even thought it. Like my intent had been read, executed before it existed, perfectly. I lifted my hands from the wheel. In the mirror, his hands stayed firm. The car kept moving. I turned again. He turned, but now I couldn't know who led, who copied. I felt in control, and at the same time, I felt played, as if I was acting out a role never written, only assigned. I wasn't the actor, just an interface, replaying code meant to mimic control. My hands still on the wheel, the road still flowing ahead. But the choice no longer mine. I wasn't the driver. I was a record, summoned back to check for alignment, a simulation testing itself, as if there had never been a real me, only a role, passed on through layer after layer of data, and each layer stripped away a little more soul. I slammed the brakes. Hard. The car froze on an empty road. Nothing ahead. No one behind. Nothing left. But me. I flicked on the cabin light. A dull yellow glow bled across the windshield. For the first time, I stared straight into the rear view. No flinch. No pretending. No way back. In the glass, no car, no station, only a figure, standing by the roadside, watching the cabin. From outside, same jacket as mine, same stance, same tilt of the neck, but just off, by a few milliseconds, like I was being replayed at lower resolution. The face blurred, but too familiar. He looked at me, smiled. A chill ran down my spine, not because he smiled, but because I smiled too, to test him. But he had smiled first, same curve, same pace, not him copying me copying him. I tilted my head, he tilted. But this time, I was the one too slow. I didn't know if I was seeing him or staring into a place I used to belong. The mirror was broken. Only the frame left, no glass. And still, his image held, sharp. Not reflection, not light. Like a screen locked on its final frame. No mirror needed. Just position, neck angle, hands, breath. As long as I sat in the right place. The light behind him was nothing I had seen before. No flicker, no shadow. A solid block of glow, freezing everything near him in place. That was no reflection. It was an entity. Outside the system, looking in, not checking, confirming that I had fit the role. No voice sample, no height check, no questions. Only this. I was aligned with the original data. I looked away, but I knew. The gaze still clung to me. Not verifying anymore, but marking, completion, and nothing else remained. The last time, I stopped. No hesitation, no doubt, no fear, only a hollow space, as if this moment had been written long ago, and I was only here to speak the final line. No one approached. No one looked at me through the mirror. Only silence. Complete, absolute, like a stage with the curtain drawn, waiting for the actor to step out into his role. I opened the door, stepped out. No rush, no thought. Each step already happened. No wind, no sound, only stillness of a night with no name. I turned, stood in the spot where the gas station man once stood. The shoulder tilt, the angle of the jaw, the rhythm of breath, perfect, exact, as if my body had remembered this role before I even knew I was acting. And then, I heard it. An engine, soft, far, drawing closer, same frequency, same speed, same timing. A car emerged, headlights slicing the dark like an old film replayed. It slowed and stopped in the exact place I once parked. I didn't need to look. I knew. A man, behind the wheel, hair messy, eyes vacant. The rear view spilled silver blur across his face. So familiar. It hurt. It was me. The version. Unaware. Still believing he was driving for calm. Still thinking he was in control. Still blind to the loop already begun. I looked through the mirror. He turned his head, startled. Exactly as I had been when it started. I wanted to scream, but my throat empty, not fear. Just overwrite, no feeling left. Only a blank file, named Actor 004. I wanted to lift my hand, to warn him, to break the loop. But my arms were no longer mine, as if this time the script didn't need me to act further. I knew. Soon, he would step out, stand here, shoulder bent, head tilted, breath aligned, look into the mirror, as if for the first time. Though, how many times before? I am the gas station man now. This role once belonged to another. Now it's mine. Not chosen, only assigned. Or maybe this is the first time. A new version, freshly written, from an old script already run too many times. In a play where every actor is just a copy and the audience forgets who the real one was. I don't know which version I am. Only this. I will see the headlights again. Each time the mirror glows, and someone will always arrive, right on cue. I will stand here, still, silent. No questions, no memory of myself, only performing the final role assigned to me. So long ago, I've forgotten it was never mine.